Hey guys, what's up? This is Showtime for Showtime Shredded Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and attempt another drive-by camera, video, I took, I don't know, 4 weeks away from not filming anymore while I drive. I put a lot of thought into it, research, practicing, and make sure it was safe. I came to the conclusion, because I was like, if it's going to cause me to take my eye off the road, not react in time, hit some little kid or something, I'm going to be devastated. I'm not going to ever get over that, right? It's a big deal. So I looked at all the positives and negatives, and it's much easier to crash doing just your normal stuff. This hands-free stuff here is more distracting than this. See, like right now, I'm looking into the camera and stuff a lot, right? But once I start hitting the road, I'm going to be here. I'm not even going to be looking at the camera. It might even be a bad camera angle, right? I'm not concerned about, am I in the right angle? Am I in the screen correctly or whatever? I'm going to be, not like I'm talking to you now. I'm going to be talking and watching the road. So I've got this here and lower body down here. I can do all the things that I need to do. I don't need two hands, okay? People that, maybe aren't not that much upper body strength, or they have upper body injury or whatever, maybe they need both hands on the steering wheel. I can clear, whatever I need to do with one hand. So, alright. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start now. And, see, right now my main focus is it's not answering the phone, okay? People are blowing up my phone right now. I don't like talking on the phone anyways for a reason, because a lot of times I'm doing videos, communicating via text. Maybe I've got 5 conversations going at the same time, right? So it's hard for me to answer the phone unless I'm driving. Then usually, yeah, I'll answer the phone. Like right now, I would have answered that if I wasn't doing a video. But it's too stressful to try to answer the phone, do a video same time, right? Unless it's maybe another phone. And if I'm doing multitasking, like driving anyways, I'm not going to answer the phone and do a video. It's not kosher. So that's why I came to that conclusion of, as long as you put the video last, sounds weird, because why else would you do a video, right? But if you're unconsciously competent in something, which is carry on a conversation. If I've got somebody here in the passenger seat, see, I'm still looking at the road. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm not looking over here, right, at a passenger. I'm focused on driving, okay? Like I said, I put a lot of thought into this. I'm being safe about it, and unless they can prove otherwise that I'm not able to fully concentrate, then I'm going to go ahead and continue the videos like this, because I think I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I am going to pull over here at a stoplight or off to the side of the road here in a minute, because I do need to change the temperature of the... I'm sweating my balls off in here. It's hot. Heater's full blast, so I do have to change that, but I'm not going to change it while I've got my hand, so I got to have a hand on the wheel. Unless I set the phone down, I can always do that. Same thing for major emergency. I could toss the phone. I could care less, right? Safety first. So if I really need 2 hands on the wheel, which I don't. Nice. I got a stop sign coming up here. So now I can come to a complete stop. I can change the temp, and I can go. And now we're back in business. So that was a long introductory statement there. A lot of people are concerned about driving and texting, which I don't do. Driving, talking on the phone, I also don't do that. But this hands-free stuff, I'm hands-free texting and stuff, it's still distracting, right? There's still a lot of stuff that goes on with it. So this is way the lesser of the evils of those, okay? So I've come to the conclusion that this is safe. And as safe as possible. It's not any more dangerous than driving with both hands on the wheel, in my opinion, while talking to somebody over here. Okay? I got nobody else in the car with me. Just you guys via this thing. Okay? So I'm going to move on to the topic of what it is that I do, why I do it, and a lot of people don't think I'm a little overboard, right, with the mind strategies and things like that with children at an early age, right? And I get it, okay? When they're just kids, it should just be all about fun, and it shouldn't have anything to do with, getting too serious or competitive. I get that, but now it's a threshold where, these kids are 13, 14 years old. My son is 14. He's 8th grade. He's going to be in high school next year, right? This is where the boys become men, right? So you want to introduce them to that warrior mentality now, so that when they are full-blown adults, okay, they've already got the right mindset. It's for fun when they're kids, but when they get older, you still want it to be fun, of course. But if they want to be serious about it, you want to be able to let them be serious. And especially in my son's case, where he takes things very, very seriously, I'd be letting him down by having any other kind of mentality. The thing that I do is I get the minds right. Like at the Bears game, just to give you an example. We were down 19-6 at one point, right? And then 13-19 at one point, or 13-18, 13-9, somewhere in there. Okay, we're getting our butts kicked by the Bears, bad. And but I could see that we were still in the ball game. We were still being competitive against them, getting them a little bit frustrated, not too bad because we weren't that close to them. They had a pretty comfortable lead. But at halftime, I'm looking at these kids, man, and they, you can tell, and every athlete, at one point or another, even for a couple of seconds, it might cross your mind, like, hey, might not be able to win this thing, right? And they were looking like they had already made up their mind, like, already pre-planning, like, it's time to go home soon, and we gave it our best, but it's not going to work out. We ain't winning this thing. And you can see in their face they look defeated, they look a little depressed, down, and they didn't look excited at all. Shoulders were down, heads down, gaze down, right? I could tell mentally these kids were in trouble. So what I did is not my position to do it, and I'm not taking credit for this because the coaches would have done this anyways. I'm sure they pulled them aside and stuff and talked to them and stuff, so they would have got their minds right. But the coaches are very good. That's why they got as far as they did, with no help to me. All I did was show up to the games, so it had nothing to do with me. But with my own son, I could tell, he kind of rallies the troops a little bit, and if he's not getting his guys motivated, his guys are going to give up on him. So I told him, I said, because I could even see it in his face, he was looking a little worried, right? So I just told him, I said, hey, don't worry about it. These guys are getting real physical with you, and they're trying to bully you. And not bully in the sense that just clean. They were just being, good football players. They weren't doing anything wrong. They were doing, they were hitting hard, they were hitting clean, and they were very physical and aggressive, and that's exactly what you want your kids to do. So they were doing all the right things, but we were a little bit, hesitant because of those, you can hear footsteps before you actually get hit sometimes, right? You worry about, embrace for that impact before it happens. So I got him a little fired up. I said, don't worry about it. Just they're doing some stuff like helmet to helmet here and there, and they're not doing it on purpose, but the refs aren't calling it. So if that's how we're going to play the game, that's how we're going to play the game. It used to be legal before. They changed the rules recently, so you know what? We're going to fucking air hole them. I want you to hit them so hard that everybody hears it in the stands, on the sideline. I want everybody to hear it. I want snot bubbles coming out of their nose. Okay? Hit them as hard as you can. Make them pay for it. And make them know that they're in a football game. Make them know that you showed up and that you were going to hit them every time, and that they're in a war with you guys. And, talking to them like that was getting the attention of some of the other players. They're kind of looking over, their eyes are lighting up a little bit, right? They're getting a little excited now, they're kind of smiling and laughing a little bit. You could tell the mind shifting, going, you know what, fuck it. If we can't, that sucks, we might or might not win, but you know what? Let's at least, we'll have fun and hit them then. We'll inflict a little pain while we're at it. Might as well, nothing else to do, right? So that's exactly what happened, is they started getting very, very competitive with the Bears now. And had we won or not doesn't matter, because what the end result is the end result. But just the fact that we were able to push them and light them up a little bit, right? Like they were lighting us up. Because like I said, they're a very physical team. I think they're even more physical with us than the Coyotes were. So we were getting right back physical with them, and now all of a sudden we're hanging in there. We're starting to put some points on the board now, more than before. And all of a sudden it's a close ball game. We're like within, like a touchdown or so. When it was 33-19 or something like that with 4 minutes left. And that's when the quarterback, I think it was a quarterback, number 5 kid, is a really, really good athlete and fast and giving us fits because he scrambled and he got big runs, and good, really, really good player. If not their best player, definitely one of the best players on that team. Okay, and it was a gift, because what happened was he started getting very, very flustered, and he ended up arguing with his own guy, and he got himself ejected from the game. And I think even the guy that he got in an argument with, I think they kind of pushed each other or swung at each other, something little, but the refs wanted is big enough to enforce the rules of any kind of fighting whatsoever, you're ejected from the game. So we were, long story short, we were able to win the game because of that. Had we still been able to win with him in the game or not, I don't know, because the next week we had a similar situation, and we still were almost able to pull it out, even with their best players in there, the Coyotes. So we still might have pulled off a miracle, and maybe not. But the fact of the matter is, he never would have got to that level where he got that frustrated, if we weren't laying some hat and pissing him off and getting him flustered and getting him worried a little bit. That's what caused that whole eruption to happen, right? And so by them pulling their heads up and getting after it, what that did for those kids was get them in a position to where making winning was possible. And even if you don't get the win, you're going to be very competitive, which is a hell of a lot more fun than the other team just racking up the points, because mentally, subconsciously, you've given up. Not physically, but mentally, subconsciously, you've given up. And they start racking up the points because you make more mistakes. You don't give it 110%. You don't hit quite as hard. You hesitate instead of going through people, and stuff, and things like that, But when you go through and you're hitting them hard, you're starting to slam them a little bit, you're ear holing them and stuff, all of a sudden the game changed, man. And they were the same way with the Coyotes, They didn't get down at all, just because that was such a huge confidence builder. There was no need for a talk like that and get your heads out and believe in yourselves and all this stuff at the Super Bowl. That wasn't even necessary. They almost pulled out. They did the same thing. I didn't say shit to those kids. Not to Cliff. Not to any of the kids. Nothing. And they still were able to use that same mentality. I'm sure the coaches, really got their minds right too. And they went out and did very, very well, and very proud of them. They got those doggone Coyotes so frustrated. There's a kid on the team who's very, very good. He's 6'2", and tallest kid on the team, biggest kid on the team, I think, as well, because he's filled out as well as just tall. Very athletic, very strong, and he was the guy that Cliff had to cover the whole game. So Cliff had his work cut out for him. The whole team did. The whole team swarmed if they couldn't get David or one of the other really, really good kids, like number 9, number 25, number 23, number 6, they had some really good players on that team, and that some of them that could give us fits, and were hard to try to get one-on-one. So we'd swarm, and lay some hat and fluster them. And that's the first time all season that an undefeated season that won the Super Bowl by 3 points, the Coyotes did. And David was flustered, and he never gets flustered. He's always other than the times when he's taunting or whatever, which he didn't do in this game, which I appreciated. But if he does, it doesn't matter. Our kids are prepared for that. They don't get all caught up in that stuff, But normally he's cool. He's cool-headed. He's a little cocky, which can be a good thing, and aggressive and intense, and scrambles away from people, even if sometimes if 3-4 guys are on him. And he was getting flustered, man. He was. They're having to call extra timeouts just because David was having a hard time rallying up his troops, and some of it wasn't his fault. Some of the other guys would get rattled as well and couldn't pull their heads out of their asses and be on the sideline when they needed to be on the field, or on the field when they needed to be a sideline. So you had to worry about that whole thing of one player too many or one player too short. They never got called for that because they were always able to put a kibosh on it, call a timeout, whatever they needed to do to fix it. But we were a hair of an ant's ass away from rattling them just enough to pull off that win. The score was 24-21 the entire fourth quarter. For 11 or 12 minutes straight, it was 24-21. And going in the locker room, we had the lead. We were up by like 4 points, I believe. And that was the first time we had ever been ahead of the Coyotes or the Bears in any of those 4 games we had against them. They were always up both times. The Coyotes and the Bears were up at halftime, and we had to come back. And that's why I thought this time for sure we were going to get these guys. And it doesn't. The scoreboard doesn't change my mindset on we won that game. Not in that the Coyotes didn't, and not that they didn't deserve to win the Super Bowl too. But I'm talking about not a numerical victory. I'm talking about not what the scoreboard says, but a moral victory for us, because that was the best we had played all season long. That was the best we'd done. It was the best we'd played. I don't know if it's the best that the Coyotes had played or not, because they played very, very well. But they always play well, and they were undefeated. So was that their best game or not? I don't know. Because they played awesome. So if that was their best team, that was their best game, that is even better for us. If that was the best that they've ever done, because we were hanging in there with them, right? So I don't know. I'm very happy with our kids. Very happy that they, had that, Lionheart mentality and scraping and fighting to the very, very end. And that's all that I could ever ask as a parent from my son. And I can't expect shit out of those other kids because I'm not training any of them. But, from a respect standpoint, they all did that. They all did their job. They all gave 110%. So if I was on a coaching staff with those guys, just for example, I'd have been very proud of them. And I'm sure the coaches were too. And they gave it 110%. And as a coach, that's all you can ask too. Because I've coached sports before, and people think I just do bodybuilding and stuff. No, I've coached and I've coached for the school district 3 different sports: football, wrestling, and track, at one time or another between the years of 1992 and 2003. So, as a coach, that's all I could ask my athletes, and it's really not that much difference, bodybuilding and powerlifting compared to football and wrestling and track. It's just a different set of rules, different sport, different strategies, this, that, and the other thing. Team sports versus individual, yada, yada, yada. So, great season. Those kids are all winners. It's a shame they didn't get a Super Bowl win because Clef alone has been to 2 different Super Bowls and 1 championship. Well, 3 championships, so obviously they won 2 out of 3. But last year they didn't even win the championship. But it was all 3 times that that really good Coyotes team has always snapped them off, and you can't blame them for that. You know, that's just means they're just a really good team, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're a very good team as well, and those kids have nothing to hang their heads on. I know they were a little bit sad and upset and all that stuff, and understandably so when you work that hard and you got that potential victory in your grasp. You could practically taste it because this is the first time you've had the lead on a team like the Coyotes that early on, right? It was looking like it might be in the bag, but hey, that's a win, man. It's a moral victory. So you guys shouldn't be upset or crying or depressed or feeling hopeless or discouraged or anything like that. Learn from it, which most used to be positive things. You learn so much about yourselves from confidence levels to execution to intensity and stepping it up when it comes time to do that. A lot of things that come from winning you learned while losing. You really didn't make many mistakes, so there's not a whole lot to learn from the loss of this because it was your best game. So don't sweat it. Look at it as a win, not a loss. And easier said than done, because if I was your guys' age and I was, missed out on my Super Bowl, I'd probably be same mindset as you guys, pissed off, depressed, sad, upset. But so I can't tell you how to feel, right? Your emotions are your emotions, but I want you guys to feel good about that because you earned it. You deserve to feel good about yourselves. You deserve to be proud of yourselves, and you guys deserve to feel like you won because technically you did. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. And as far as the taunting thing as well, I exaggerated that. I could care less if the kids are going to taunt or not. They did it in a fairly harmless way, right? But I said some things and posted on Facebook for a reason to get people fired up. You could tell that it's an emotional football team. That's an emotional coaching staff. It's an emotional group of parents. So you get them rattled. You get the kids rattled. They make more mistakes. You got a chance to see it's psychological warfare. Playing games with the Coyotes, right? Saying they're jackals and hyenas, and none of that's true, right? They're good kids. They're nice kids, and they're a little cocky, but they had the right to be. They're undefeated. But I made them out to sound like little snotty-nosed little brat kids. I did that on purpose, even though it's not true, right? And I had it retracted, but I'm not gonna fucking retract it before the game because that's stupid. That's gonna be backfiring the strategy. Now I knew it could maybe light a fire because these are physical kids and they're intense. It could get them more pissed off and maybe lay more hat, but it didn't work out that way. It worked out the way that I was hoping it would, and I don't even think it got back to them. So I don't think that had anything to do with their mindsets or being flustered or anything like that. They got flustered because we were hanging in with them. That's all on the coaching staff and the kids. That's 100% them. That had nothing to do with me. Like I said, unless somehow they got hold of those posts and it did monkey with their minds. But again, I don't think that happened. So I'll just take the good with the bad and say that what, Jason and Jeff and that coaching staff for the Colts is spot on. They're the best in that organization. 4 out of 4 teams went to the Super Bowl. It's the first time that's ever happened with Colts or any other team. That's not an accident. Jason, unfortunately, is not going to be around anymore after this year, but you know what? He built that legacy. That's an epic organization now, and the guy that's filling those shoes is the right man for the job. That Jeff Boyus, man, he is gonna keep that legacy going because that blueprint is in place now. Jason's got it all set up. All he's got to do now is ride those shirt tails and continue to make that a successful program And he's going to add some things to it, of course, too, because he's going to have some things in the arsenal where Jason's going to be better at certain things than Jeff is, and Jeff than Jason, and I'm sure they've learned a lot from each other and gotten each other better. And so, you can't go wrong when you got two champion warriors, coaching a bunch of really hardworking, well-mannered kids. And it was neat to be a part of that, because we almost didn't do the grid kids the last couple of years because we were just going to do the middle school. I'm so glad we did the grid kids and the middle school, because that was a program above and beyond where it should be. Usually it's the schools that have the better programs, and the little kids are just kind of getting warmed up for that. And this is the opposite, man. This is a more successful program than the school programs right now. So very pleasantly surprised with that. And then you got some good tools from both. You had good coaches on the Highlands team too. They didn't win a single game last year, and they had a losing season, 0-6, 0-8, whatever it was. And they won some games this year, and so that's already tells you that that's a good coaching staff there. So he learned a lot from training, competing in Highlands football, and from doing the grid kids too. I don't recommend it to everybody. I don't know if I'd do it over again. I think I'd probably make them choose one or the other, because it's hard to do double practices 4 to 5 days a week, right? Going balls to the wall in both practices, it's a way to get hurt. And then you got a game on Thursday, game on Saturday, and sometimes you'd have these gassers and conditioning stuff on Friday. Well, fuck, then you don't even get to rest. You're exhausted from Thursday, banged up, beat up, then you're all sore from the conditioning stuff on Friday. Then you got to go play another fucking football game. That's pretty hard on the body and the mind, and I'm just glad he didn't get hurt. Praise the Lord, praise Jesus. And I'm glad he had good coaches on both programs. That always helps. But this has been a long ass video. Holy shit, it's almost a half hour, and I was just gonna say a little bit. All right, guys, it's been Showtime with Showtime Straight Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. All right, and as you can see, I got home safe. It ain't that dangerous to drive if you still watch the road. Don't watch the camera, though. Don't watch the camera. Don't look into here. Look over there when you're driving. All right, guys. Take care and God bless.